Mhm. So you all are able to see my ID, right?
Yes.
You all are able to see my screen, the ID.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay.
Yes.
So basically today we'll cover variables. Okay. So it will take like Hmm. So study, not a study exactly. The last class we are going through variable types, right? So basically we know the definition of variable. Variable is a container which which holds user data and certain memory will allocated to variable. Clear till now? Okay. So value variable can be changed any number of time during the program execution. This is the basic definition of variable. Okay. But the one thing that we should understand clearly is the type of variable. Okay. Let assume take any person in India, like so this person can be categorized based on their color, their religion, and their location, right? So if they belong to northern part of India, we can call them North Indian. If they belong to a southern part of India, we can call them South Indian, right? If the person belong to a specific religion, we can call them, let assume if any person who belong to a North Indian who belong to Hinduism, so we can call them like an Hindu North Indian. Same thing go with the South Indian, right? So we can categorize based on many things, right? So similarly, in Java also variable we can categorize on multiple base. Okay. So the first one is my screen is visible to you all, right?
Not now.
No, in the
Now it's not on.
Okay, one. I actually my second screen got off, so that is the reason. Let me share again. 1 second. Is it visible now?
yes,
Are you able to see my ID? You guys able to see my
Yes,
ID?
sir.
Okay. So similarly, based on location where we define the variables, right? So based on that also we can categorize the variable. Okay, based on data type, the data type that we use to define a variable, based on that also we can categorize variables. Okay, so let us initially I have told you guys, right, these two lines, right, until I explain these details, and these two lines everywhere we have to write. Okay, so let us know I'm declaring a primitive variable. Okay, so why I'm calling it primitive? Because I'm using primitive data type. So int a equal to 5. So a is what? A is which type of variable? A is primitive variable. Okay. Okay. Now, non-primitive variable, which we call reference type also. So right now, like we have not much clear on reference type, but just for the sake of example, I'm taking string reference. So string is a reference data type. So I have created string name and I have given the name. I'm just given a value to the name. So if someone asks you, name is which type of variable? So what you can say? Name is a reference type variable, user defined. Okay, user defined, reference type, both are same. Okay, and primitive. Okay, so basic type of variable, you understand there are two type of variable based on their data type, based on declaration, how we are declaring it, which data type we are using to declare it. There are two type. First is primitive variable and second is reference variable, right? Okay, so what I will do is I will write one program basically, and you guys have to tell me what is going to be the output. Okay, or you just guess the output. Okay, so let us assume boolean, not here, not exactly here. So boolean b1. Okay, now byte b2. Okay, sort s int a. Let us assume we'll take long b, and then we'll take float double, float f double d. Okay, and then string name. Okay, so I'm just taking only one what do we call reference type variable. Mhm. Okay, so I'm just taking only one reference type variable. So let us assume I have to print this. Okay, so to b1. Sorry. Okay, so prior to printing the b1, we need to one second. Not exactly here. Let me edit. To print, I just type void method 1. Okay, you guys just focus on the statement that I'm typing to print. Okay, so b1 b1 b2 s int, sorry, a b f d and name. This is clear. Okay, so what I will do is I want to execute this statement. Okay, system.out.println. So just we have to focus about how I'm executing. I'm just explaining, but you just have to focus on what is the output it's going to print. Okay, so first I'm creating an object, which I will teach you guys exactly how the object is getting created and all. You don't have to bother about. And then with the help of object, I'm calling a method, which name is method1. So what happened? It will call this method and then first line will get executed. So what is going to be the output when I print b1? So anyone can guess, like quickly. So or we have not assigned any value, right? We have
Yes,
not
it's false.
assigned any value, so it is false. Okay. Okay. Now second one,
Second one would be this.
third one,
Third one 0, fourth one 0.
Okay. Fifth one,
0.0.
okay, we'll see. Okay. And the last one is null. Null why? Because null is a reference type. Clear? Okay. Let me execute this and we'll see exactly what output and all we are getting. See, correct? False, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0.0, 0.0 and null, right? So we got clear idea about default value and we also get clear idea. Someone's trying to speak something. Person voice is not
No,
clear.
no, no.
Okay. Okay. So the basic thing that we have to understand is this is the default value it will print when you have not assigned any value right now. Okay. And if someone asks you which type of variable it is, so you can say this b1 is primitive, this is primitive variable, this is primitive variable, this is primitive, and the last one, right, is string. It's a reference variable. So primitive and reference is clear, right? Okay. So in last class also I have explained the same thing. Okay, I'm again just explaining because I want to capture everything today related to variable. So primitive variable and reference variable. Okay, so it is pretty clear from the definition. And memory allocation, primitive variable memory allocation based on their data type happen. Okay, but reference type always occupy 8 byte of memory. Okay. Default value of primitive also depending upon what you are using. If you're using boolean, then false. If you're using byte 0, if you're using double 0.0. If you're using string, then null. But in reference type, always it will be null. Okay. Because it's string. String is a reference type. So it's always be null. Okay. Now, as I said, we can categorize variable based on their data type and also based on their location where we are defining them. Okay, so if I define it, let us assume if someone is in Rajasthan, so you can call him Rajasthani. If someone is in Bihar, you can call him Bihari. Someone is Tamil Nadu, you can call him Tamilian. It's not about based on their religion, based on their location, exactly where they belong. Similarly, with variable also will do the same thing. If any variable, let me take a class and then I will explain that. Okay, so very important. So I will take sample test. Okay, so now I have taken a class called sample test. Okay, so based on location, based on where we are defining and how we are defining, there are three types of variable. Okay, so based on data type, how many types we have? Two types, primitive and reference. Now, based on the definition, where we are defining it, exactly which location, based on location, like in program, where in which block we are declaring it. So based on that also, we have three types of variable based on the scope of the variable. A scope means in where we have declared. Let us assume if you guys able to see this parenthesis, right? It started here and end at line number 9, right? So this is called class scope. What we call? We call class scope. Okay. So anything which come under this scope is known as instance variable. Okay. Let us assume if I declare int a, so you can call it primitive instance variable. You can call it primitive variable as well as instance variable also. Okay. So there are three types. The first type is instance variable. Okay, why we are calling it instance variable? Because it directly come under this scope. Okay, we'll see second type. Second type is static variable. What is static variable? That we'll discuss later. First, why it's called static variable. So if any variable which have prior to definition static keyword is known as static variable. So B is static variable. Okay. Okay. So now local variable. So just assume sample test is a country or India, and all union, like union territory we are having, right? So all are come under instance. Okay, and local is when you have, let's assume inside that I have a method. So if anything, if I define inside this is known as local variable. So let's assume if I take int a equal to 6. So this is called local variable. Okay. So there are three type of variable based on where we are declaring it. Okay. The first one is instance variable. The second one is static variable. And the third one is local variable. Okay. Clear?
Yes, clear.
Okay. So now we'll go through the definitions and all. Okay. So let assume a scenario. Okay. Where you want to just let assume in your family you are having four brothers, right? And you want to you want to keep something so that all the brothers can access that one, right? Okay, let assume your father want to keep something so that all of your brother can access that one. Okay, so that variable should be static. If anything which want to be shared among the objects. Okay, so let assume if you let assume your father money, right? So that is by default for all of your brother that they that are those are static in nature. How? Let assume your father having 10 lakh rupees. Okay, so for you also that is 10 lakh. For your other brother also that is 10 lakh. If you withdraw, if you withdraw 1 lakh for you, so for everyone, now their father money is 9 lakh rupees, right? So it's like it's shareable component. We'll define and we'll see also how exactly it's work. Okay, first we'll go through definition. Okay, the first one is instance variable. So basically what happened, this parenthesis, right? So when you define a class, public class sample test you define, when you declare directly inside the class scope, we call it instance variable. Okay. An instance variable doesn't have a static keyword and you cannot define instance variable inside a method. Okay. So basically this variable get, if you not give any value to them, I just declare int a, right? At the time of object creation, right? It will get assigned by default value with the help of JVM. Basically, JVM will check, okay, there is no value for int a, let assign the default value. Okay, clear? Now, static variable. So static variable have the same thing. Like we cannot define here static. Okay, it doesn't work. We cannot use static in a local scope, local uh, uh, prior to local variable. Okay, or as a prefix of local variable. So we can in instance variable only, like before the instance variable, we can use static keyword. So that becomes static variable. Now it's not a instance variable. Okay. So this is called this is method. We have to learn like how to define a method, but you just understand. Inside this one more scope is started. So inside that scope you declare, it will come called local variable. Okay, and local variable must be assigned. It's not like you cannot assign a local variable, you get exceptions. Okay, so every time whenever you declare a local variable, you have to do initialization for that. Means you have to assign something to that. Okay, so if someone asks you how many types of variable you have, you guys can clearly say that based on data type, there are two types of variable. Based on the scope, there are three types of variable. what and all? Instance variable, static variable, and local variable. Okay. Alright, now we'll do some practice like basic understanding of how to define a variables and what and all. Okay. I'm just removing this. Okay. I'm adding the main method. Okay. Now you guys can see here. This is class scope, right? As I said, if I declare anything directly inside the class scope are known as instance variable. Or this is a local block, right? Inside that, whatever you declare, it's become local variable. Okay, let me print this local variable. So what it's saying, local variable might not have been initialized. So it's showing the error. You must initialize the local variable. But it's not showing for this because this is instance variable. Instance variable, if you not initialize by default, JVM will initialize for you. Okay. Let me access this one. Now I'm trying to access that A. A is the instance variable. So I'm trying to print that one. So I'm just accessing this. What it's just saying. So non-static field cannot be referenced from a static block. It's a non-static field. So we cannot access directly. Instance variable you can only access with the help of object of that class. Object of that class. So first I have to create the object. Okay. I will call obj. And then you have to use dot to access that one. Clear? Okay. Okay. So now till now it's clear, right? If someone asks you exactly what is this variables and how to declare static variables, those and all you answer. Now behavior of those, exactly what is, why we need a static, those things, those stuff we'll learn further. Okay. Now you there are certain things like when we declare a variable, right? So you might see in certain programmer they use a int a. Okay, so because they all these three are similar types, so they can declare in one line. Okay, okay, but it doesn't mean that if you see like 0, it will be for everyone. It is only for C it's 0, or you can say 15. Okay, so like that also in a thing, because the you why to write multiple times, right? Int a, then int b, then int c. Okay, these three are similar types, so you can also better to write in this way, int a, int b, int c. But if you want, you can write in this way. This is called single line declaration. Okay, so you can do same thing with char also. So if you're having char a, b, c, so you can declare not exactly a is already used, a1, b1, and c1. Okay, okay. Now what happened? I want to, let us assume I want to initialize like multiple variable with the same value. So what I can do? So on top I have declared a, b, c. So here I will a equal to b equal to c equal to 9. Okay, so you can we can use like this, but not here. Okay, that is not the proper way to do it. So let us assume initialization we cannot do on class scope. Okay, so basically let us assume here I declare x y, and z, right? I want to assign x, y, z sin x equal to y equal to z equal to 90. So what happened? X, Y, Z will get initialized with the value of 90. Okay, that is clear.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So is there anything, any doubt, anything you are supposed to ask, you can ask. Okay. So basically today class we should be clear about type of variable based on data type and based on their declaration point where we are declaring. Okay. I'm not going in deep for static and all because anyhow we have further classes for static variables and all. Okay. So now, so you guys have get clear idea based on where we declare there are three types and based on data type, the type of variable is two, right? And now we'll learn about constant. Constant what happen as like a variable definition, what we learn. A variable value can change multiple time during the program execution time, right? But constant, what is if you want to declare a variable which value doesn't change? Once you initialize, it will remain constant throughout the program execution. So those variables are called as constant variable. So if anyone asks you what is constant variable, so you can say that constant is a special variable whose value cannot be modified during the program execution. Constant is also called as final variable. Why it's called as final? Because in Java, when you want to when you want to declare a constant, you have to use final keyword. Okay, so we'll see. Okay, so let me declare a final value. So final can be placed anywhere. So final int a equal to 9. 1 second. Sorry, I'm okay. So this value, right? So this is a final value. Now a is 9. So during a program execution, the value of a cannot be modified to always be 9. Okay. So if any before any variable, if you use final keyword, that variable become constant variable. Okay. This final you can use before string, before reference, or before primitive data type. So I can already int is a reference, int is a primitive, and string is a reference. Okay, so I'm using a string. Yes. Okay, now str is also a constant, which value is aks. Okay. Okay, so now we'll come to this, as I said. So I have taken int a equal to 10 here, and then what I will do is I will try to print value of a. So I have print the value of a here, and then what I do, I will update value of a, and then I will print a. Okay, so you guys can easily guess the output. So first what happened, I have assigned value 10, then I print it, so it print 10, then again I reassign it 20, 20, 20. Okay, okay, so now what we'll do, I will use final keyword. So what final will do, final will make it constant. So what will happen with constant? Let's see, cannot assign a value to final variable. So I'm not able to reassign a value to final variable because final is a constant. So constant doesn't change their value during a program execution. 10. Okay, you try to modify, you cannot modify that one. Okay. Okay. Then people ask, okay, what about if I not assign this anything? So if you not assign this anything, in the second line, you can assign that a equal to 100. Okay. And now you can print. So it's not like reinitializing. It's like once the value got assigned, you cannot update that value. Okay. So here value got assigned. So that is the reason. We'll run again. I'm not able to update the value, right? Clear?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Now, when I was,
Yeah.
yeah, tell me. Okay, when I was explaining, like when we are having the first class, that is called related to constant and go to. You remember, like in keyword. So in some of the programming language, people use const to define constant, but Java, it's not like that. We cannot use const to define a constant. We use final to define a constant. Okay, so basically, variable part is completed. Okay, there are certain uh, points that what we call the summary of that we will discuss in next class. There are 10-16 point that we'll discuss, and then we'll over with variable. In next class